Number one, the arch. The arch. The arch of the stonemasons. The arch of the sky. The arch of a mushroom. The arch of the angels. The ark of the angels. The ark of the covenant. The ark of this introduction with a small person going to tell you something big. My name's Ryan7 and welcome to the first episode of the revealing of the mysteries. None of the crap, none of the hoo-ha, none of the airy-fairy. Here we go. Welcome to the secret science. So I think the best place to start this discussion is not in Sumeria, not in Babylon, not even with the Masons. I think the best place to take this is all the way back to Gobekli Tepe. Maybe pronounced Gobekli Tepe, who knows, it's got some weird accents over all the letters. However, this is the first signs of civilization that we've ever had. According to mainstream science, at this point in existence, mankind was hunter-gatherers and so didn't have the technology or even the will to be able to make something like Gobekli Tepe, as they said it needed farming and agriculture and things like that. Now what maybe they've not thought about is that this was actually a point of contact to teach agriculture. But who's going to teach agriculture if we're all hunter-gatherers? Well, it's back to that old thing that it does look like there has been a previous civilization. And this is the proof of that previous civilization, seeing as essentially this is a kind of advanced pattern-based mathematics. But who are the teachers? Well, we see in all these ancient depictions of these priest class kind of guys that are carrying these handbags of knowledge, or the stash bags, or whatever polysemic things they are. Polysemy is this stacking and layering of ideas and thoughts into one image, that one image can have not just many interpretations, but is meant to have many layers of meaning to it. Many religious documents in this day and age are like this now. So we look at Gobekli Tepe, and these have the stone handbags, and they are also building stone monuments, and it appears that these are the first stone monuments that we can actually date, and looks like it has a real civilization attached to it. And these are astrological, and they link up to the sky, and they were mapping out times and dates and all these other very important things to early man. Now, if we go back to Gobekli Tepe, there are the beginnings of certain motifs. Now, some of these, according to certain guys, are astronomical calculations, and they imprint pictures of birds and scorpions. We still have scorpions, we still have birds in the constellations. We put those in the sky. And then there are a few other drawings as well, namely the handbag. I think it's pillar 44, and there's another one of a lady giving birth. She looks like the Earth Mother. She has a phallic penis mushroom head too. So, and not forgetting that all the actual columns and pillars of Gobekli Tepe are in this T shape, which can actually quite easily be traced back to mushroom worship. So we have the guys carrying the handbags themselves, and we have this Earth Mother giving birth to a baby. Now recently I injured myself. I slipped my Achilles tendon and went and lived in some peace and solitude on an island just off Anglesey called Caergybi in Welsh. We actually call it Holy Island in English. Now when I got there, the main town was called Holyhead, and essentially was a Masonic town. You could tell from the actual livery of the town, you know, the coat of arms, which has Cubby, who is this Celtic priest church builder, you know, a stonemason. He certainly was an architect. This stonemason guy, it's been carried on. There are still masons there, and a lot of his iconography is still around the town. There was a Roman fort there, which includes lots of different architecture, and it's got, if not the oldest church, one of the oldest churches, and it's clearly a bit pre-Christian, or taking these Celtic ideas of the old Druidic religion and kind of compositing them with the modern Christianity. You can tell it's kind of this handover that this Cubby was, and he would have been a keeper of these ancient mysteries. Cubby was said to walk from the west side of the island towards the east in the morning, and was called Yellowface for it, because you can imagine he's getting a tan face. And St. Cyril would walk from the east side of the island to the west, and he'd be called the Yellow-necked. And I'm starting to think there's something weird going on here. Now, as you go into the town centre at Holyhead, there's actually a little archway before you cross a bridge near the port to Ireland. At the beginning of this tunnel to the bridge, there is a depiction of Cubby and St. Cyril facing each other. And one day I'm walking past, knowing the magicians quite well and understanding ancient magic very well. And I just said to my girlfriend, wait a minute, is one supposed to be the sun and one supposed to be the moon? And lo and behold, next to Cubby and Cyril was a picture of the sun and the moon. So, I'm realising that, you know, there's a deeper mystery here, and I would have thought it was something to do with architecture, seeing as Cubby was famed for essentially building lots of churches and then running the local diocese. So I've looked at St. Cubby's church, and it's literally covered in all kinds of alchemical symbolism. You could call this early Christian, but really it's those things that Christianity pinched and added it onto itself. As we all know by now, Christianity is not an original religion and is essentially based on a sun, moon, astrological and mushroom worship cult. I went to Puffin Island to go and see St. Cyril's monastery, and lo and behold, in St. Cyril's monastery was this icon of the Earth Mother giving birth, which we call in Britain, in Gaelic, Sheila na Gaig, or Sheila na God. I'm an artist, and I have an uncanny thing for pattern recognition. And as soon as I saw this, I saw other geometry, other hidden geometry that I've been studying in other places, namely the pyramids and in Stonehenge, a bit further down south from here in the north of England. And essentially, this hidden geometry is how they built the pyramids. It is the 3-4-5 triangle geometry of Pythagoras of the Masons, and it's here. And it's in Gobekli Tepe. So, what have we discovered? This underlying geometry of the pyramids, of Gobekli Tepe, of St. Cyril and St. Cubby, and of Stonehenge. Not only is it there, but it's in many other places, like these, and these, and these, and these. Now, what's in the stone handbag? We've discussed before that it's weights and measures. You need to rule a kingdom, weights and measures. Keep everybody together, keep everybody in check. Essentially, they're the fundamental laws of trade, but also the fundamental laws of architecture. Shilling a gig contains all this geometry, as it does at Gobekli Tepe, as it does with the stone handbags, as it does with the masons. There's something about this fundamental geometry which actually produces golden ratios, silver ratio, bronze ratio, which are all based on square roots of numbers and actually show up in nature. Information. Information is power, have no doubt about it. These ancients knew it, tradesmen now know it. If you've developed a new technique to do something and then give that information away to your competitors, that flattens out the competition and is no use to you to gain an advantage over your competitors. Now, all information comes from nature, and I believe that these ancients had decoded something in nature, perhaps possibly the fundamental pattern. It certainly seems to be what they're saying, and then this pattern was passed down through the ages and ended up in the stonemason tradition, which obviously has lots of philosophies and esoteric things attached to it, but essentially it's all about the arch. So what they've discovered, and what I believe I've found that they discovered, is the archetypal geometric structure of the physics of the universe, derived from comprehending these patterns of nature from playing about with mathematics. Now, rather than the modern day mathematics where we are cold and calculated and just take it for what it is and don't understand the philosophy behind it, these people were using this kind of pre-Pythagorean number philosophy to derive the patterns of the universe. They believe they found it, and I'm starting to believe it too.